Now, earlier on, when we were talking about Yo MTV Raps, you mentioned that if they were to revive it, you wouldn't do it because there's a lot of shit out now that you just wouldn't like, and people would hate on your opinion. Is there anything out there now that you are listening to, and what is your overall opinion of hip hop right now?
It's not as creative as it should be. Well, that's hard to say because there are a lot of artists out there that I listen to all the time. Mainstream is what I don't think is creative as it should be. But I do understand it. I understand that at this point in my life, everything is not for me. And it's funny because I had this conversation with Jay-Z one time about the Magna Carta album.
Right.
I do understand that everything is not for me. And I do understand that there is a place for party music and a place for turn-up music. But it's not Drake, it's not Nicki, it's not Wayne, who I think are very, very talented artists. It's not Future, it's everybody else that's trying to be like them.
Right.
That's the problem. But there are great hip-hop artists out there that I really, really like. I mean, you got cats like King Los, and you got cats like Logic, that my son put me on the Logic. I love the whole Funk Volume crew and Hobson, and I love Rhapsody. I think she's one of the illest females out there.
She was just in a studio with Dre this week.
She's fucking amazing, yo. What can you say about the whole TDE clique? They're dope. Kendrick's a young dude that's just kind of kicking the door down. J. Cole sold 1 million records with no features. I love him. I mean, there's great hip-hop out there, but that's not the hip-hop that's getting played mainstream radio. And I see this resurgence of lyricism coming back to hip-hop because J. Cole is running around in the United States of America and in Europe and other places, and he's selling out arenas by himself. Yes, so that means people want content. So that means if you want to be good, you can be good. And you can move units, and you can sell records, and you can have a fan base. You don't have to follow everything that everyone else is doing. That's my problem with hip-hop. In the 90s, you can point it out. You can be like, that's EPMD, that's Redman, that's Naughty, that's Tupac, that's Snoop, that's Dub C in the Mad Circle, that's Ice-T, that's Ice Cube, that's De La, and that's Tribe, but they in the same crew, but they don't even sound nothing alike. You can point everybody, that's the Mighty KRS-One, that's Big Daddy Kane. Everybody was individuals. Everybody stood on their own feet. LL would make an album, and it would just be LL on the album. Run DMC would make an album, and it would be just Run DMC. I remember the first time I heard 8 Million Stories with Curtis Blow featuring Run DMC. People didn't do features. I was like, oh, shit, he got Run DMC on a song? People didn't do features. The Fat Boys did their Fat Boy album. When you bought an album, you got that person. They put their artistry into that album. Then we got to this point now where it's not about the art anymore.
Well, you can't have an album without 1 million features.
1 million features, and it's not about the art. It's about what can I say that's repetitive, and what can I sell, and not even sell, but what can I make hot so that I can do club gigs and make money.
Right.
That's all it's about. There's too many subpar artists out there that are getting a shot, and the real artists that really have something to say, that's really studied hip-hop, that really loves the language and the metaphors and everything, those people are getting pushed to the background, and that's the problem that I have with it.
A conversation I was having the other day, kind of along those lines, was that I think, personally, like you say, there's a lot of hip-hop there, like the good shit. And then there's all this other trash that all sounds the same. Yeah. Would it be fair to say that the stuff that's out now that is trash, it's not even hip-hop? It should be, if they're calling it trap, it's trap. It's completely different to hip-hop.
Yeah, I think they should categorize it. I think they should categorize it the way they do rock and roll music. There's heavy metal, there's contemporary rock and roll, there's, all kind of grunge, there's all kind of rock and roll, and hip-hop should be separated and put into different categories. There's always been pop rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's pop rap. That's cool. That was Hammer, that was Vanilla Ice, that's Macklemore, Ryan Lewis, that's Diddy. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing, and that's all fine because music is just your own expression. But if it's trap, then it should be called trap hip-hop.
It's misleading to some people.
It's not hip-hop. It's really not contemporary or conventional hip-hop at all. Right. It's really not very good. But you know what? You can see that. And you could see that when it really came down to it, give you an example, the Meek Mill and Drake beef and a battle, you could really see that Meek didn't stand a chance because, in all honesty, he wasn't that good. He was the hype. It was the hype, but when it really came down to, like, when you battling somebody, you slow that shit down so everybody can hear exactly what you're saying. He ain't stand a chance. Because Drake is really, really good. Like, he's really good. But he's making that music to keep himself hot in the clubs and to keep himself. The kid is really, really good.
He's clever as well.
Yeah, he's really good, though.
Like, I think it's very unfair as well. Like, with the whole trap thing, it's definitely something we need to separate, because if you go on iTunes and you look at hip hop and they make these playlists, there's all this shit that just is not hip hop, and it's there, and these kids think, they think that this is hip hop, and it's not.
Right.
Like, that's what I have a problem with.
Yeah. They definitely need to separate it. It should be like it's its own category.
Do you think you just mentioned some names, well, pretty much all the names I was going to mention to you, that all these lyrical cats now, so your Kendricks, your Coles, your Logics, like these guys are now selling records and being successful and touring, as you say. Cole, I think Cole they just announced something like 17 million he made from just touring recently. Do you think that it's ever going to do that 360 and it's going to be it's going to be prominent again like it was?
It's happening now. Right. It's not this generation, not the 20 somethings now. Them 16, 17, 18s behind them, they're pushing that shit out the way. That's my son and them. My son's a freshman in college. That's him and his boys. All they listen to is lyrics.
Right.
Because those are our kids, and we taught them what amazing hip hop is supposed to sound like. So that's why he can put me on the Logic like that. Listen to this kid. Right. That's why they can put me on to people like the Flatbush Zombies and Bodega Bands and Travis Scott and
Joey
Badass and them.
Bishop Nehru.
Right. Them dudes are saying something. And that's what they want to hear. They get tired of this shit. It's good to stand up on the couch on 3 o'clock in the morning if you're drunk. That's all it's good for. You know what I call it?
What?
Milk music.
Milk music.
Milk music. It's like a carton of milk. You put it in the refrigerator, it's only good for a certain period of time, then it spoils, and you pour it out, and you never revisit it.
Right.
And it's the next carton.
I love that.
It's milk music.
Because I actually, personally, have a problem with the fact that they're even calling it trap music. Because trap music is Jeezy, T.I., because they were selling drugs in the trap. And now this electro shit, like, they just don't get it. So, milk music. We need to do a petition or something. That's what we're going to call it, milk music.
Milk music, because it's only good till the expiration date.
Man, that's amazing.